This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now today we start with a topic called Amazon API Gateway. Now, what is API? Okay, now you will come across this word very often, and you will see APIs like that. People will speak about API, but if I go by the definition, you will get confused. Okay, so if I say what is API, API is Application Programming Interface. Now, a very genuine or a very valid example of this is that when you go to a travel website, okay, let me say like bookmytrip.com or goibibo.com. So basically what you do is you book a ticket. Now the moment you book or you want to book a ticket, the traffic goes back to the like indigo.com or your goair.com, and from there it fetches the result and it brings back to you. So meanwhile it is doing so many things. Okay, you just clicked on yes, I want to search the dates and all you gave, and you clicked on yes, I want to search, and then it went back, searched so many things from different websites, and then gave the result to you. That's an example of API, where you enter at one place, but internally the request goes at multiple places and then fetches the request from fetches the output from there and brings back to you. Okay, so that is API. Now, precisely talking about API, when API comes to Amazon, so what is API? So, or what is API gateway? So what is API gateway? One second. Am I audible to you guys, right?
Yes, Vikas.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay. So, and so if I go by the definition, okay, so it says what is API gateway? So API gateway says that it's a simple entrance or the main door. I can say like it's a main door. So with few clicks, AWS Management Console, you can create an API that acts as a front door, okay, to all the applications. One second. He joined the wrong. One second. One second. Okay, so it says that with a click of few clicks, the AWS Management Console, you can create an API that acts as a front door for applications to access data, business logic, or functionality from your backend services such as EC2, code running on Lambda, and your web application. So what is this basically? What does it talk about? So long story short, this is what it is talking about. So this is the outside world, okay, where you have laptop, you have phones, you have tablet, okay, and then you want to come inside to AWS environment, because till now whatever we were talking about Lambda, EC2, DynamoDB, whatever stuffs we spoke about was internal. Everything was, we were inside AWS environment only. But now it's not like that. We can't suppose my website is hosted on AWS. I can't say the customer, you learn AWS and then I'll allow you to come to my website. Those things don't happen. So what we do is we make our services available to the outside world. So how do we make it available, or how do we or AWS people communicate to the outer world? So it is via API gateway. So API gateway, first activity, what it will do, it acts like a secure channel which connects your outside world to AWS environment. First thing. Second thing, it also acts like a load balancer. So if there are multiple API gateways, or like let me say in a home there are 3 doors and everybody is trying to enter from the front door only, then obviously not everybody will be able to enter. So what they do is APIs in itself, they distribute the traffic in such a way that it also acts as a load balancer. And the third thing, it also acts as a caching service. So let me say that every time you have to go to DynamoDB and get the content. So that's not the case. This time it will be cached in my API gateway. So API gateway is like one solution to multiple problems. First, it will act as a channel, a secure channel, which will allow the outside world to communicate with your AWS world. Second, it will act like a caching service where you get speed because the content is temporarily stored here. And the third is that it also acts like a load balancer where it distributes the load. Now what I'm going to do today is that we'll see a demo of this. Okay, so in this demo, okay, what we are going to do, so people who have just now arrived, one second. So people who have just now arrived, just a quick recap of what we are doing. So we are today discussing about API or application programming interface. Application programming interface is nothing but it is a way of connecting different worlds together. So here we are seeing that this is outside world where I have laptop, a tablet, and this API gateway is connecting my AWS services to the outside world. If I go by the definition, it says it acts like a front door for applications to access data, business logic, and functionality to your backend services. And the backend services are mine, EC2, code running on Lambda, and any web application. So we have a hands-on here, and in hands-on, what we are going to do, we are going to do this. Okay, so what happens is, suppose this is me and I know the IP address. Okay, so this IP address, or suppose this is me over internet, I know the URL.
Is
Yeah,
yeah, is this part of VPC or this is a different?
this is API. VPC is done, right? I told VPC I have done.
No, under no in VPC I think VPN I think it's not done, and
No,
and
VPN is
tunnel I believe
uh,
tunnel
uh,
also the
no.
subject is there.
VPC is different. VPN is different. Wait, I'll just show you. AWS.
No, then VPN is different. It's not under VPC.
VPN. I'm putting it in the chat window. Okay. VPN. It is virtual private network.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well,
Sir, what? VPN peering is pending, no, sir? VPN peering.
a pairing also is pending, but wait, first let me complete this.
Yeah.
Virtual private network. VPN is virtual private network. Now I am talking about API, which is your interface, basic interface, application interface. So these two different things. API is for me to connect to the outside world. VPN is virtually I am connecting, and then the VPC peering which you're talking about, VPC peering, this will come later. Okay, so back to my this thing. Okay, so this is what I intend, or this is what I plan to do. So I know the website address. So let me say the website address is hellocloudgurus2019.com. And the moment I type this URL, okay, internally my route 53 will convert this to my IP address. So 1, 2. So this is happening now, because in my example I don't have a route 53, so I'll not do this. It is understood that this will happen. So let's forget about this. Let me come to this. So 1, 2. So we are not doing this, okay, because we don't have this route 53. It is. So what we will do is we'll start with this. We'll start with a bucket. Okay. Highlighter. Yes. We start with this. We start with a bucket and we create a static website first. Static website means something which will not change over the period of time. Okay. Then we bring our API into picture. We bring our Lambda into picture and make this content a dynamic content. Okay, a content which changes with click of button. So this is what I have planned to do for today. It will be a quick session and it will be an effective one. So let me go to console, management console. Okay. Now, first thing first, let me come here, S3. Okay, so I have two buckets. Let me first go ahead and delete it. So where are those? Sorry. Confirm. So, okay, so now this is there. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to create a bucket. So let me first create a bucket. So in this bucket, let me give a name. So I will say my first bucket 2020, something like this. It is there in North Virginia. Create. Okay. -02 01. Create. So I have created one bucket. Similarly, I'll create one more bucket. I will say my second bucket 2020-02. Again, create. Okay. Now in the second bucket, I'm going to put a image. Let me come to internet and so image of flower, something like this. So this is all for my static file content. I will save image and it's there in my desktop. I will say image dot jpg. Okay. Desktop, save. Now I'll go to my bucket. In my second bucket, I'm going to first make this bucket public. Okay, so let me go inside to the permission and I'll unblock the blocked services. Done. Save. Confirm. 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 This is done. And back to overview. I will upload the image which I have just now taken. So it's nothing but is there in the desktop? All files. Where is it? One second. What was the name?
It was under AWS file.
Okay, under AWS. Okay. So many other. I'll do one more. Don't know where it went. Image of flower. Let me take this one alone. Save image as inside desktop. I will say photo dot jpg and it is under desktop. Save it. Done. I'll come back, add file again to desktop. photo.jpg. Open, upload, and what am I going to do? I'm going to make this public. Make public. Okay, I made this public. I have the URL. I will keep it with me. So in a notepad, I'm going to keep all these things. Notepad. Okay, this is my image. Done. Now step 2 is come back to my other bucket. S3. This bucket. I'll make this public first. So let me come to properties. Sorry, permission. Block. Edit. Unblock. Save. Confirm. Done. Confirm. This is done. And here what am I going to do is I'm going to upload 2 files basically. Okay, and these files is one which I'm going to create just now. So I'll go and create 2 files. Before that, let me delete this. New text document, and let me open this file. Save as index.html, and this is a all file. Save. Okay, then one more will be save as error.html. Error.html, and I will make again this as all files. Save. Close this. So basically I have index.html and error.html. Okay, I'll edit both of them. So edit. Let me just write a very basic web HTML. So h1, welcome AWS TRAI training. I will close h1 and I'll close HTML. Okay, copy this, Control C, close this, Control S, close this. Then I don't need this, close. Then I will go to error.html and I'll just, this is a error. Control S, close. Okay, I'll upload this and this both basically. Sorry, this and this to my bucket. Let me upload index.html and error.html and upload. Once I've uploaded it, I'll get a success. Done. I will come to this and I will say make public. Similarly, the other one, which one I did? Action, make public. This is error.html. I will do for the other one also, index.html, make public. Now I have the URL. Now if I go with this URL to my website, I got the message. So this is my static website now, or this is my index.html. Now I have to make this bucket to act like a website. So here I'm going to go, I'll go to management and sorry, permission. Here I will say properties, static website hosting. I'll say yes, use this bucket as a static website. this will be index.html, and this will be error.html, and you want it to be a website, click save. So now if you see this thing, you got a URL or you are got an endpoint. Now this endpoint is nothing but this is your website address. So if you are having Route 53, you can change this to some other name, but I don't have Route 53, so I'm going to use this only. So let me first close this, open a new tab, and try this. Okay, yeah, so this is working as expected. Now one more thing, I want to see my error.html is working or not. So I'll come here, I'll come to overview. For time being, I will delete my index.html. Okay, delete. So this time when I come to my website, yeah, I got the error. So this is an error, and I got the error message. Okay, so this is part one. So static website done. Where is this? So this is also working, your static website. Now I have to bring the dynamic content. Now to bring dynamic content, I need to do few things. First thing first, what am I going to do? I am going to go to lambda. So services, lambda, lambda. This is slow. Okay, so it says, okay, I have one function already. This is from the morning one. Okay, so let me leave this. I'll create a new function, and here I am going to say my dynamic website. You can give any name. I'll say my dynamic website. I'm authoring from scratch. I'm using Python 3.6 basically, and in permission I'm going to change the permission. So I say that I'm going to use a template, and when it comes to template, I am looking for something called first give me a, let me give a role name. So my dynamic role, something like this, and in policy template I will look for something called micro, MIC. So I get something called simple microservice permission. Why this? I'll tell you. Now, what happens is, first try to understand what is a microservice. Okay. Now, suppose I have an application. Let me say I have an application like Ola or Uber. So if you see Ola or Uber, it's not like one function working. There are so many functions. Like you have a geographical function, you have a payment window, you have a feedback window, you have a call center, customer call center, you have your own profile, you have payment profile. So similarly, if you see any application, there will be small components which will be clubbed together to make up one full working website. So here in my content also, if you see, there are so many stuffs, and I want this stuff to work independently, so I'm using this. So they AWS gives this by default only, simple microservice permissions. So I'll use this, and I'll just say create a function. So once the function is created, I'll go and do the rest of the work. So I have the content written here. I will see what all is there. So it says lambda Python 3.6, choose this thing, and here there is a code. Now if I come to the code, okay, there's the code. I'll paste the code and I'll tell you what the code is doing. It's a very simple code. So I will come here down, and I will just remove this, and I'll paste this code. Now if you see here, there's a very simple code. It says define lambda handler. So lambda handler is something from where the execution will start. So this is lambda handler, and this is where the lambda handler is starting. It says in lambda handler, response means if the response is okay, you give 200. Okay, response okay is 200, and in body it will give my name. So return response. So basically what will happen is I will trigger my lambda function with the help of API, and an API will be invoked with the button. I'll show you what is that. Just for time being, think like there will be a trigger from API which will invoke lambda, and lambda will return a response. If everything is good, the response is 200, means everything is good. Okay, now back here. So I will just, what I can do, I can come here, file, and I can save here, and then I can come here and save it. So this code is saved. Code saved. Then what else I can do? I can go down. Environment variables don't need, tag don't need. This I want to change a bit. Just 3 seconds. I can change to, let me say, 9 seconds, anything like that, so that it does not time out. Then let me further go down. Anything else which I need to change? Role is there, network is there. No, I don't want to change anything. Now let me go up again. And here, who is going to trigger your lambda, or how is your lambda going to be triggered? So I will add a trigger, and I will look for my API. So I'll come here, and API is the one which is going to trigger it. So API. Now here, if you come, it says API, pick an existing API or create a new one. So obviously I will go to create a new one. So I say create new, end of API, REST API. Yeah, please. Somebody was saying something. Is recording started? Yeah, recording is there. Recording is going. Okay, so I choose REST API. It says that ideal for building REST API where you want full control over the request and response of the API management. Now, before I proceed here, I will just tell you, I don't know if you all are from engineering, computer science background. So what happens is, so let me come here. So suppose this is website, okay, and this is your web server. So this is server, this is website, and this is internet. So from internet, when you come to the website, you give the URL name, and that is nothing but it's a get request, means I need data. So this is get request, get request. And then it will, if the data is available here, well and good, or it will go to the server. It will take the data from here and it will come back and it will deliver the content to you, and that is called put request, which is nothing but put request. Similarly, you have multiple requests, get, put, post. Okay, so this is a basic one, get and put. It is this. Okay, so why I did this? Because I'm going to use this in the REST API. So REST API security, if you want AWS IAM, so it says, because it's a serverless facility, IAM take care of this security. I'm not going to do anything. Then I don't do anything. I simply say add. So the API configuration will start happening now. So it's adding. Basically what will happen is, so now it's ready. API will invoke my lambda. Now if I click on this API, it will show me an arrow. See, it's showing me arrow. It says that your API is down, go down. If you come here, you get an API endpoint. Okay, basically if you click here, you will get an error message. Let me just show you. It says missing authentication, so I have to take care of this. How to do that? I'll just now show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my API. So either I can click here and go, or I can go to services and I can go from that side. So it is up to you. But I clicked there, so I have, currently I am at my API web page. So let that web page get loaded. So this API page is getting loaded. Please wait for some time. So this page is what I am interested in. So now here it says any means anybody can come and request. I don't want that. So let me delete this. So I'll come to actions and I'll say delete method. And it says, do you want to delete any? Yes, delete. So it will get deleted. Yeah. Now I will add a get request. So actions, create method. What kind of method you want, or how do you want to invoke? So see, there are so many methods: any, delete, get, head, options, patch, post. But I am interested in get, means you get the data for me. Yes. Now it says click here. Okay. Now how are you going to invoke it? I'm going to invoke by lambda. Are you going to use lambda proxy? Yes, I'm going to use it. Which region your lambda is? Just let me go and check. It is in North Virginia. North Virginia is US East 1. So this is US East 1. What is your lambda function name? So I will say my dynamic website. This is the name. Use default timeout. Yes, save it. So it says you are about to give the API full permission. Yes, okay. So now this is ready. Now I have to deploy it. Deploy it like when you do something, it is you have to deploy it to some region, right? Similarly, I'm going to do that. So action, just damn slow. Let me refresh this once. Okay, so let me come to actions, and this time I'm going to deploy my API. Okay, deploy API. So it says where do you want to deploy? So if you have test dev like that, you can deploy. I'm going to deploy to my default region. Any description? Default AU. Okay, deploy. Now the API, if it is deployed successfully, it is ready to be used. So now it is ready to be used. So if I click here, get request, I'll get a URL. Okay, let me keep this URL with me. I'll also click into this URL. Let me click on this URL and I get my name. Means my API is working fine. So my API is getting integrated with Lambda, because in Lambda, if you come and see down, functions, okay, so this is body and I'm getting the response. This is what I should get. The response is okay. If I get the response okay, it means 200. It means I'll get the name. So this is what I'm getting here. So everything looks good. Now I am coming back to, so my lambda is done. So let me come to my slide again. So it says this thing is done. Trigger API, I am done. All these things. And now I'm going to delete, done, done. All these things are done. Okay. Now I am coming to my index.html. I'll change that index.html basically. So let me come back to my machine, index, edit with notepad++, and this simple index.html I'm going to make a bit complicated. So if you, for time being, just ignore this script thing, just see here what is there. So I'm saying there is alignment, bring it to center, and the message is very simple: hello, and there is something called Cloud Gurus. You can use the same message, hello cloud. It is up to you. Any message is okay from AWS. Okay, then there is button on click. Okay, when there is an on click, a function will be invoked, which is basically this. I'll come to this function, and there in the button it will be written click me, and this button will put you to the bucket which is having the, so this bucket. So this is the bucket where I'm having the, yeah, this one. Come on, yes. So let me just take off this and put my bucket name, GPG. One more thing, let me see if this URL is working. Control C. The XML file appears, okay, permission denied, no such bucket. Control V. One second, Control Z, Control Z. Let me change this. Okay. Now let me see if it is working. Control C, Control V. Yeah, it is working. So basically I have given the URL name here. Okay, so this is the source or the image source, the second bucket which I have created, and it says your API link here. So I will come to my lambda, basically back, sorry, the API, and I will take this link. It's slow, it is very slow. So default get, there's the link. So I have already copied the link, but still I'll take it from here only. Control C, and this is the link for my API. Control S, everything looks good. Let me close this now and upload this index.html. Okay, and if everything is okay, it should work. So from here I'll go to my S3 bucket. This damn slow. Into my first bucket, and here I don't have index.html. I'll upload the one which I just now edited. Add files, and I'll go to desktop, and this is the one which I have just now edited. No, not this one.
Plus, you modified error.html, not index.html.
Is it? One second. Yeah. If I have edited the other one, then it's a mistake then. No, error.html is okay, no? Error.html is same only. Index.html, yeah, my bad. So what I'll do, Control A, Control X, and thank you for letting me know. I will come back. I'll open index.html, Control V, Control S. So index, This is again error.html, right? Control A. So HTML H1. This is a error. Close H1. Close HTML. So Control S. So this is error.html. Let me close this. And in index.html, Control A, Control V, Control S. Everything looks good. Close this. Control D. This time again I will take these two and I will put it back. So what happened? Okay, let me just pull index.html only and upload this. Okay, so index.html is there, but I have not made it public. So let me make it public. Every time I upload, I have to make it public. Done. So now if I am back to my URL, so this is my URL for my website basically. Control C. And if I come here, yeah, so I get the image, I get the message, and if I click here, I get a button. Okay, yeah, it changes. So it changes to my name. Obviously, it will not change back. So I refresh it. So this is a simple API call which I'm doing. So whenever I'm doing a click here, okay. So if I click on this, this content will change. Okay, this content. So this is the image which I have just now pulled from the other bucket. This is the on click function which is getting invoked. So if I click on this, this changes to my name. So if I come back to what I was trying to achieve and what I have achieved. So let me come here. So basically three things is what I was planning to achieve here. First, that I have a I have a S3 bucket name basically, which is nothing but this my bucket something website something. Though it is a name, but it's not easy to remember. If you want, you can change this using DNS. So it can be like www.godaddy.com or swamimohan.com something. So that was first part which I skipped. So Route 53 part I skipped because I don't have a DNS name right now. So I skipped that part. In the second part, I was having a bucket. In that bucket, I was making a static web call and I was getting a response back. So that was I showed you initially. In the third part, the same bucket, I made dynamic. How I made it dynamic? I made it dynamic using a API and Lambda. In Lambda, basically, I wrote a code. So if I go back to my Lambda, I'll show it from here also. That's also LAMBDA. So in Lambda, I simply wrote a code saying that it is Python 3.6, and the code says that if you get a invocation, so where will you get the invocation? So this is what is invocation. So this is when I click here, okay, when I click here, a invocation is happening or a API call is happening. This API is in turn going and invoking my Lambda function. So if I click here, this API gateway is getting invoked. If this is getting invoked, in turn it is getting or invoking the Lambda. Once Lambda is getting invoked, it will get me the response and it will send the response to the user. So the same way which I showed you, that if you send a GET request from the server, you get a PUT request back. So this is how I configured my Lambda. Okay, so if I come back to my function, show you the basic code. So here my Lambda is there and it is getting invoked by the API. I don't know why internet is so slow. So this is getting invoked by API, and API is getting invoked by my click. So this click is invoking this API. Okay, this API is invoking my lambda function, and the lambda function is giving response to API, and API is giving back that response to me on my console. And what is the code I have written? So it's a very simple code. It says return response if there is a click. So if there is an event, the event is something which is known as API. If API calls you, there is an event. If there is an event, you have to handle that event. If the response is okay, means there's no problem, okay, then give a response code 200 along with Kumar Vikas. You can change this name, okay, and that's done. Once the response is received, back to my PPT. Once the response is received, so response it goes back to API. From API, it comes back to me. So this is what is happening here. Hopefully you people are clear on this. So let me refresh this back, this image, and click. So this is API gateway for you. So now what I'm doing is via API, I'm communicating with the outer world, and I send a get response and I get a put response back from this. So this is API gateway for you. But remember, you have to come to get and come to this URL. If you click on this URL or default URL, you'll get a different, this link is different, okay? This link is different. This, when you click on get, this link is different, okay? So this, and if you click here, this link is different. Please make a note of that. Now I'm expecting from you that today you will practice this, okay? This is very, very important. You have to practice this, then only you will come to understand all the stuffs. So guys, any doubt or any questions here?
Yeah, Vikas.
No.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please go
earlier,
ahead.
earlier you have shown this on the website by using
Yeah,
Route 53. The same, this also the like same kind you're
correct,
using
correct.
the Route.
Yes.
What is this? What is the scope of this? This one APIs for the solution architect in AWS.
Okay, APIs, if you see, if you there are the course you can be taken in two ways. First is you are preparing for certification. Second, you're preparing for your day-to-day work. Okay. Now, if you go for certification in API, they will just ask some standard questions. Okay, they'll not ask some hi-fi questions. Max to max, 1 or 2 questions will be there if you are talking from exam perspective. But if you are talking from day-to-day perspective, where you present yourself as a developer, not as an architect. An architect will not do all these things. It is beyond his capability to do all these things. I am touching this because I felt that this may be important, because some in my one of my sessions somebody asked, you're talking about AWS, how do we connect to the outside world? So it is a developer's job. So here I'm writing code, I'm giving you some code, I'm saying index.html, I'm saying Python. So all this is developer's job. So in a team, there will be developers who will write the code and he'll give to you. As an architect, you just need to present the scenario that I want this, or my design says this. So as an architect, you will come up with a diagram like this. That's it. Okay. But as an architect, nobody will ask you to sit and code this. This is not architect's job. He can't do this, I can assure you. Okay. But if you want to be a developer, then definitely you need to know this. On top of this, you will need to know HTML, Node.js, means some front-end language, and then obviously Python or some back-end language like that. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, Vikas.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, ये sysops क्या है sir? What is the name of sysops?
SysOps is system operations. You basically are monitoring and administrative jobs there. Like you create users, you create groups, you create IAM roles. Most of the
Like,
admin related work you do.
okay. So this architecture, like for the sysops, what we have to learn this apart from this AWS this, architecture.
For you are looking for SysOps.
No, I'm asking, sir. Actually, my
I am not clear with the question. I'm asking like where you want to concentrate. You want to concentrate on sysops side or architect side?
no, sir. Like if we want to go with the sysops, what I have to learn apart from this architecture part?
Okay, if you want to go with sysops, okay, then you need to know little bit of this thing. What you say, Unix, Linux, more importantly. Okay,
Okay, okay,
which is pending for you. I have told that I'll cover that for you. So Linux is important, where you say, see how much disk is empty, how much CPU utilization, how much memory utilization, those things you go and you make customized this thing. What you say, CloudWatch metrics. You come with customized CloudWatch metrics. You generate the reports and all. So that is like one or two steps ahead of this.
okay, okay.
Guys, any more questions? Okay, no, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the slides. I've already shared the slides with you. Please go through the slides. All the steps I have written it here, the code I'm using, and all those things. You have to only change it to places and you have to use it. Okay. Once you are done with this, you feel much more comfortable. Okay. I'll also share the recordings with you.
Because we are
Okay.
getting the permission option, permission
No, I have
request.
just now given permission. So basically, what is there that if you try to access, no, I get a, notification that
Give me.
he wants to access. So if I approve, you will get the access. So I think
Okay.
now you might have got the access.
Okay.
Okay, because I have approved for Shri and all everyone, so you will get the access. Fine. Okay, see you tomorrow then. I'll let you know the timings and then we'll meet tomorrow again. But I'm expecting that you will practice this. This needs practice. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vikas, don't forget to share the video, Vikas.
Yeah, I'll share the video with you people.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.